Thank you. So we'll continue now with Karen, who will also discuss the work of Defense of Democracy. Thank you so much, Karen.
Hi, everyone, and it really is a pleasure to be here, and I am so humbled to be on this panel with so many amazing people. These conversations need to happen as often as we can get them to happen, because there is a lot going on that people are not aware of, that they don't understand the implications of, and it is a tough task to kind of bring it to the forefront. We were having a conversation before we came out here talking about the correlation between Germany in 1929, 1930 and what's going on now. And I feel very strongly that we're in a place right now where there is still the ability to stop what is coming down the road. We still have this opportunity. So if anyone has ever asked themselves, what would I have done? We all like to think, well, we would have been one of the good guys. We would have helped. This is what we're talking about right now. This is what we're looking at. Defense of Democracy. Defense of Democracy started 2 years ago. It started because in my community, and I live in New York, I'm a little bit upstate, I'm in Dutchess County. There was someone who ran for school board in my community, and the signage that they used was Christ is King, Anthony DeLulu for school board. And it was the kind of thing you saw it and then you sort of immediately unsaw it because it was just so wild, right? And I think that we become desensitized to that thing. But I was contacted by a friend of mine who said she wanted to take action and raise some awareness about this. Long story short, we found out that a group called Moms for Liberty were also endorsing candidates running for school board. A lot of people right now know who this group is. At the time, nobody did. But I happen to know who they were because I had been watching the school board events going on in Florida, and just, you felt like you're in a bubble. You're like, oh my God, Florida's, what a nightmare, those schools down there. Those people are, they're jumping over the desks and they're threatening each other. And so when I saw they were running candidates up here in New York, it was a moment where I really said, wow, this is serious. So I immediately looked into my local group of parents, and we did an awareness campaign. And that awareness campaign ended up mobilizing an entire community. And I said to my friends, I said, you know what, I wouldn't do this if I didn't believe there were more good than bad people out there. The problem is that the ones who really want to shut everything down and basically set fire to our Constitution are louder, they're litigious, they're frightening, they're intimidating, and they're bullies. And it's very hard to stand up to bullies. So really, I was assembling a force of people who would be the voice for that. Because especially as teachers, you cannot many times speak for yourself. And you need a group of parents and community members who will defend your right to teach. And Defense of Democracy now, since that time has grown, we are now national. We have chapters in California, Oklahoma, Florida, Texas, all over the country. And we are the definition of grassroots. We are not the ones to make a decision about what books should be in classrooms. Like, I'm not. The ones who should make those decisions are the teachers. The ones who should choose what's in your library is a librarian. So how does the grassroots movement really work and work well? We work hard and we work from the bottom. I think it's very important to realize that in New York, we are no different from anywhere else. And I'm going to give you a small example. My youngest child is a sophomore in high school. And they came home one day and and they were telling me about what happened in their social studies class. Okay, what happened? Well, one of the kids raised her hand and said, they were talking about the Holocaust and said, I don't believe the Holocaust is real. And the teacher said, I'm not dealing with that right now. Okay, but I was so upset, and it's such a complicated feeling because on the one hand, I can understand because that is going to open a whole can of worms. Because there are people in every district, do not think that any district is safe, who really believe these lies and do not believe history. And I felt that teacher had left a child or children in that classroom with a grain of doubt as to whether or not that had ever happened. And that's called the chilling effect. They didn't want probably didn't want to get in trouble, didn't want to get in an argument, didn't want to call from people's parents. And so now you have this missed opportunity to clarify. And I don't, again, I don't really blame the teacher. I'm just so frustrated. So we are getting out and organizing and going to school board meetings and teaching people how to speak, teaching people how to do a peaceful protest. We are a one-trick pony. I looked around before we started Defense of Democracy to see if there was anything like this, where our organization could be single focused on the school system. Because we really also want to appeal to moderates. Because I believe in my heart, as someone who was raised by a lifelong Republican, that this is not the Republican Party that we knew, and there are still people out there that can be reached and can be reasoned with. Our goal is to create a safe environment for our teachers and ultimately for our students. Our goal is to let everyone know that this is a serious problem and that things can be done about it, that there are actionable things that you can get out from behind the keyboard and behind those arguments on social media and speak out and be heard, and that truly the best feeling is when you realize that there are more people in support of what you're doing than against it. So that's Defense of Democracy in a nutshell. Thank you.